Mad Dog, also known as Beast with a Gun, also known as Ferocious, also known as Mad Dog Killer, is a 1977 Italian crime drama directed by Sergio Grieco. Grieco directed movies in a variety of genres through the 60s and 70s. Films featuring gangsters, gladiators, secret agents, superheroes, scandalous sisters. For his final turn in the director's chair, he presented the story of an escaped convict's rampage by letting the audience ride shotgun. Convict Nani Vitali leads his gang on a daring daylight prison break. From there, the gangster rampages throughout the land until he faces off with a detective leading the manhunt against him. First off, this is a harsh film going for that raw, straw dogs kind of violence. The movie earns its R rating about 13 minutes in, where he confronts the guy who testified against him, beats him within an inch of his life, rapes the guy's girlfriend in front of him, and then dumps the guy in a shallow grave. The threat of this gangster's cruelty hangs over the film, but for a rampage there's only about 6 or 7 homicides on screen, most of them almost quick enough to hide the squibs. This movie is the bad guy's story, with no apologies for his behavior, no sob story past, no attempts to redeem him. As the Beast with a Gun, Helmut Berger elevates the role with a rock star intensity and charisma. He proves the character is most dangerous for his mind and his instincts. He provides complexity not by making the character sympathetic, but by showing that he's a fraud. Marisa Mell plays the girl he takes hostage and allows us to see the danger up close. Her struggle is the soul of the movie, but her part of the story ends early, and it feels like the movie should too. It's a shame the good guy isn't as interesting. In other movies, Richard Harrison's square-jawed, squint-eyed police detective is the one who guides the audience through the story, but in this movie, he's on the outside, which works from the perspective of the rigid forces of law and order pushing back against the agent of chaos that the gangster represents. But compared to our Mad Dog, our hero's outmatched. Even when the stakes get personal for him, he feels like he's going through the motions, so when they face off in the final act, it's already kind of a letdown. But the first 10 minutes is a great opening chase. The factory heist around minute 42 is almost as good. Compared to all that, the last 30 minutes feels like it's running on fumes, but the movie still manages to tie things up, with everybody getting what they deserve. At the time of release, Berger was already known throughout Europe for his film roles, ever since he was discovered a decade prior by director Luciano Visconti. Berger was just as famous for his romances. In America, he appeared in such projects as the 80s TV soap Dynasty and Francis Ford Coppola's Godfather 3. Marisa Mell found her greatest success portraying femme fatales in the European genre films of the 60s and 70s. Her most remembered movies today include Operation Diabolique and Secret Agent Super Dragon. This movie was Sergio Grieco's last as a director. In the same year, he would co-write the screenplay for another grindhouse gem, a World War II movie called Inglourious Basterds. That movie would inspire Quentin Tarantino's own Inglourious Basterds, spelled with an E, over 30 years later. That would be the second overt tribute to a Sergio Grieco film.
That Rugged Howard?
No, it's Helmut Berger.
Whatever you call this film, Mad Dog is a relentless movie and a shining example of what grindhouse cinema is capable of.